Hello everyone, I would like to welcome you to our online webinar, SysAid Academy monthly webinar, software license tracking. And what's on our agenda today? The webinar includes 3 parts. The introduction will be given by me, Ren Zisman, SysAid Academy Supervisor. Technical highlights, the second part will be given to you by Joseph Zagari, one of our customer relation team leaders, and the third part, best practices, that will be given to you by Sarah Lahab, our VP of Customer Relations. Before we actually begin, I would like to thank you all for submitting your important feedback on the survey on the last month's webinar. I want you to know we appreciate your input and we evaluated all your important information to enhance your experience, and I would like to thank you for that again. And at the end of this webinar, we will also ask you to go ahead and answer the survey attached on the website. So, also our representatives are available for you. Take your questions on online chat at webinar.sysaidchat.com. If you have any questions or logging issues, we'll be happy to help you out. Alright, so we have a surprise for you. We created a short movie clip homemade by SysAid that deals with the challenge we are going to talk about today, software license tracking.
Morning, admin wizards.
Morning, Ed. The wizard got stuck in broomstick traffic, but the apprentice is here. How can I help you?
I think that an apprentice will do. Tell me, how come Karen has this little thumbnail picture in her Outlook?
Oh, that's because we upgraded her from Outlook 2007 to 2010.
Hey, sounds great. Can you upgrade mine as well?
Oh, I'm sorry, Ed, but we ran out of licenses for 2010 at the moment.
That's a shame. Can you get more licenses?
I'll ask the wizard to pick some up when he gets back. I'll let you know.
Great, thanks Andrew. Have a good one.
You too, Ed. Bye.
Morning.
Oh, morning, Sean. What's up?
Nothing much. Did I miss anything?
Yeah, I just found a secret passage in Super Mario. And Ed from Finance was here a moment ago. He asked if he could upgrade his Outlook to 2010, but I told him we ran out of licenses. Do you mind placing an order for more?
We don't need to place an order for more licenses. We have a bunch of them in the storeroom.
No we don't.
Yes, we do.
No we don't. Trust me, I'm telling you.
I'm pretty sure we do, Andrew.
I'm really sure we don't, Sean.
You're pretty sure we ran out of licenses, eh?
Absolutely.
Okay. Wanna make a bet?
You got it. What are we betting for?
You know, tonight is Friday night. I've had a stressful week. What do you say we bet about a round of beers? If you lose, drinks are on you.
That sounds great, but I'm pretty sure you'll be paying for drinks tonight, though.
So it's a deal.
So now, each one of us will make a report on how many licenses are installed in a whole company and how many licenses we have left. Think you can do that?
Yeah, no problem, sure. Well, you'll start from the top floor. I'll start from the bottom.
Got it.
Okay.
What's with you? Here, you happy? We have 15 more licenses left. Hey, how come we didn't run into each other in the middle floor?
Oh, that's because I didn't have to count the licenses manually. I just pressed the button. Have you ever heard of SysAid software products before?
SysAid what? You mean you just didn't have to run up and down the stairs counting licenses like I did?
Nope. Actually, I sit back with a cup of coffee. With SysAid, all you have to do is to go into the software products section and print the desired report.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I'd like a license for that.
I'm sorry, Andrew. We ran out of licenses for that at the moment.
Okay, great. I hope you guys enjoyed that great movie, and let's continue. Okay, so I assume you guys more than once asked yourself the following questions about software and licensing management in your organization. For example, how many licenses have you purchased, or when was the purchase done? Okay, maybe you have them on notes or pieces of paper, and you have them all around the place. Who is your supplier? It's important to know who your supplier is for each software, for support issues, warranty, and maintenance. Even if you want to go further for more advanced documentation, when is the maintenance period going to expire? If you have a certain date for the warranty or license agreement, you want to have it done easily so that you don't have to remember when the software license is about to expire. You can prepare yourself for that stage if you need to go ahead for more acquisition and purchase more, so you'll be able to be on top of things. Another great thing is that you'll be able to know how many computers have the software installed. So you'll be able to track and be on top of things to know where is on what location, and we will demonstrate later on the technical aspects on how we can combine the assets with the software. And the other thing is where is the software physically located. Okay, you don't have to actually run down and see physically where the software is. Maybe it's locally on the machine, maybe it's on the network. You have a system that will go ahead and do that for you automatically, and that is regarding the DML. That will also be mentioned later in this session. I'm sure that you guys have the challenge to manage large-scale software in your organization. So this feature will help you go ahead and deal with that challenge efficiently and professionally. Another thing is more advanced and great in this feature is that it will create alerts and notifications for you automatically. So you don't have to put reminders on your calendar and start writing down and being uptight about missing the expiration date, warranty. Everything is automatically created for you to help you run and maintain your software products. The other great thing nowadays that we all want to be financially wise, so you can get financially efficient by knowing how many software products you have in your organization. How many licenses have you purchased in the past? Did you really achieve the return on investment on other products? Or in the other aspect, if you have more licenses and you want your end users to work more efficiently, or your department to work on a faster pace, utilize time and professionally, they can just go ahead and use the software available for you to get a better return on investment on what you have and produce better work. The other great thing is Cmdb. Okay, if you have that module set up, it will help you automatically create correlations between the assets and your software products. It may seem complicated, but if you have that module set up on SysAid, it will be done for you automatically, very easy. And Joseph later at the technical highlights will discuss this topic. Another great thing you have with this feature that will help you very easily comply with software regulations. If you have any end user license agreement, if you have the BSA laws that you have to comply with, you're very easy to know where you're standing as far as licensing agreements. You can combine that. It's done automatically by the system, and it's very, very easy and friendly for you. So you know, if it's so easy, there is actually no reason for you that you really shouldn't do it. Going forward, these are the overview of the technical highlights of the feature. First of all, discovery. You need to know what you have installed on your assets, on your machine, in your organization, what software you have available, and this feature will help you do that, to know what you actually have. The other thing is regarding the software products themselves. First of all, you have installed names, which is basically all the software inventory that you have on your machines. They may be locally, they may be on a network. The other thing is, it's for you to decide what is easy for you. If you want to manage this software, yes or no. If you don't want to, go ahead and manage the software, so you can go ahead to the next step, which is license count. You can actually count the number of licenses. You can determine how many licenses you have for this product. Are all the licenses being used? Are you over the bar? Maybe you should purchase more. Everything is done automatically. You don't have to go ahead, break your head, or take the time to go ahead and actually document it, or take a pen and piece of paper. Everything is done automatically by the system, and it's really, really helpful, as you saw that demonstration in a movie, okay? And really in real life time, that will help you manage things better. The other thing is the aspect of expiration and purchase date. Okay, once you go ahead and purchase the software, you don't have to worry about when is it going to expire, when did you buy it, who do you need to go ahead and contact in order to get those dates and information. Everything is available for you. Nice, accessible, easy report that can be created. Okay, now that said that, what I would like to do is to invite Joseph Zargari, one of our customer relation team leader, to provide us with the technical highlights. Thank you very much, and Joseph.
Thank you, Ronen. It's a pleasure being with you today, as in every month in the past 4 months. I'd like to continue where Ronen left off and go deeper into configuration and features and what we can gain. So basically, when we talk about software products, we can get a few benefits with relatively simple configuration. We'll look into the configuration, we'll look into the benefits. Generally, you can get the total number of installations you have across your organization, and of course compare that with the amount of licenses you purchased. You can get alerts when the amount of installation exceeds the amount of licenses you purchased, and reminders. That's another important topic. So let's take a look at how we configure software products. We should generally provide some basic details on the license. Who's the vendor, what's the product name, what's the version, when you purchased it, when support is due to expire. Basic information. We'll look into some more information you could add on later. We should choose the install names, and that's the way that software identifies in the Add Remove Programs console of the computers. Just choose any install name that would indicate that software is installed on the computer. And last but not least, choosing the company. If you're working in a multi-company environment, and each company purchases their own licenses and you need to track them all, then you can define the company, and that will give you the installation count specific to the assets related to that company. If you're using with just if you're working in a single company environment, you don't need to choose the company. You can just leave that unselected, and it will count the assets system-wide. So let's take a look at how this looks in SysAid. What I have here is the asset form. It's basically the software tab. It's showing us on the bottom part of it all the installations that appear in that software product. Let me just put it in full screen so you can actually see it better. And there you can see all the installations I have on this specific computer. It has the versions, and some of them you also get the serial. That's a complete list of installations detected on that specific computer. Now, instead of going through one by one and checking if a certain software is installed on it or not, you can basically go ahead and create the software products. On the asset management menu, you have the software products submenu. All you have to do is just create a new one and define all the information we're interested in. So in my case, I'm going to do Office 2010. This is made by Microsoft. Under vendor, make sure you have the manufacturer name so you know who's the manufacturer for that product. After that, we'll also see the actual supplier of that or support provider, name it whatever you want. You can choose a different one. So number of licenses, let's say I purchased 3 licenses, and let's say I purchased that on October 31st. Okay, and let's say I get 2 years of support, so expiration date would be October 31st of 2013. Okay, you can add some more notes. You can select the company. Again, if you're working in a multi-company environment, select the company who actually purchased that license. In my case, I'll just do all. And select the install name that indicates that this software is installed. So I'm going to choose Microsoft Office 2010. In some cases, you may have more than just one. Sometimes it will appear in Add Remove Programs as Microsoft Office 2010. Sometimes it would appear as Microsoft Office 2010 Standard Edition, or it could appear in a few different ways. Just make sure to select any possibility of an install name that may appear on the asset. So I'm going to select just that one. Managed license is defaulted to yes. If you choose no, it will just not give you the automatic alerts and notifications, and we'll see that in a bit. I would generally say yes, you should always be updated on notifications and alerts because these are softwares that you purchase, and you need to make sure you always have enough licenses, so I would always keep that yes. Let's apply for now, and you can see that I immediately get a count of how many assets are using that specific software. In my case, I only have one. I can click on that link and get a list of computers using that software. You can use the export button to get an Excel spreadsheet, or the PDF icon to print it into a PDF output, where you can actually print that and take it into a meeting that you need that information for. Let's take a look at some of the other examples I prepared for today. For example, I made Office 2007 Professional Plus in 2 formats. One is for all companies. You see companies here is blank. That means that it applies to all companies, all assets. I defined that I have 85 licenses, whereas only 75 installations are found in the assets. So I can click here, get the full list, again, print it, export it, whatever you need. Anytime you need that information, you can go in and pull that information out. Whereas if you choose one of the software products I created basically for the exact same install name, but only specific to a company, then you get a different count. Of course, that company only purchased 15 licenses and they're using 13, so you still have 2 more to spare. Okay, this is how you would configure the software product. Let's see what are the benefits you can actually gain out of these software products. First of all, and well, basically first and foremost, you get a centralized management of software licenses, and if you're familiar with ITIL concepts, you probably know there's a whole chapter just on DML, and Sarah's going to discuss that on the best practices part. basically it talks about having important files and the installations stored in a known place, and I think SysAid is the best place you can actually manage this on, because not only you count the installations and make sure you're not exceeding the amount of licenses you purchased, but you can also attach the manuals and invoices, and if you have contracts and end user license agreements, whatever is relevant and whatever is required by regulations in your country. In some cases you would be required to do that, not just for sake of managing it right. So you could attach the files there. You could also add links to where the installation is, what's the vendor's website, where you can actually go and get support and you know, get upgrade patches and you know, news and everything. So wherever you think you have a link that would be useful for that specific software, you could attach that to the software product. Let's take a look at how this is configured. Basically, when you go into the software products, these fields are not there by default, links and attachments, but you can easily add them by clicking on the Design Form button. Choose those two fields from the Available Fields part, move them into the Visible Fields part, then you'll have the option of playing around with attachments and links. In my case, I attached a couple of PDF files. One is the invoice, one is the license agreement. If I needed to add the manual, I would also add the manual PDF file attached to that software product, but that's just the example. I also added a link to the installer, which is located on the file server somewhere on the network. Basically, when you add, let's actually start with the attachments, because that's really easy. You can click Add, choose the attachments you want to add, and just basically upload it. For links, it's a little bit more tricky because you don't have that nice browse button. You're going to need to name that link. In my case, I named it Installer. And the link itself would actually be either HTTP. Okay, so you could do Microsoft.com/office. Or if you want to make a link to a file located on a file server, you should do file, : / and 3 more slashes. Basically, that's the only form that works with all browsers. You could do 2 slashes, that would work with Internet Explorer, but not with Firefox. So just to be on the safe side, use 5 slashes after file : then you need to add the server name, so I'm going to do server-name and the share name, and you know, the directories. You can do a link to the directory itself or to the setup file, so maybe setup.exe. And when you do that, that link will just point to that specific directory or file. This way you have the central management of where all the installations are. The two other topics I'd like to discuss is reminders before the support contract expires, and the notification you get when you get automatically when the amount of installations found on your network exceeds the amount of licenses you actually acquired. So let's take a look at these two options and start with the reminders. Reminders is actually not a software product feature. This is a general feature for SysAid, so it's under the Preferences menu. If you go to Preferences, then you can go to Reminders, and you'll find that you already have a predefined reminder set up for support expiration date. That's the expiration date we just filled in on the new software we created. By default, it is set up to open a new service request, and it is defined for 30 days. I changed that to 60 days, just to customize that a little bit, but you can define whatever threshold you want before that date reaches. and of course define what time of day you want that to be submitted. Now the notification itself is a concept we'll see again in a second. If you look at the notifications tab, you'll see open SR notification. This is also predefined. You can set it up to not only submit a service request but also send an email or a text message to your phone, whatever you choose, or even a combination of the three. So you can define that right here. Choose the method you want the notification to trigger on, and the details of the email, text message, and service request are in the three designated tabs. Now, if we're looking at asset management, if we're looking at software products and we want to look at the amount of licenses, you can see if you look at that list, I didn't exceed any of my number of purchased licenses. But if I do, I want to get a notification for that. And this is defined here. Under notifications, you can set up a notification to be triggered when license exceeded. Choose again the notification you want triggered, and same concept is set up right here. You can create a notification, define what that's going to do, and then define the event of what to do and when to do it. When a certain event happens, trigger that notification. This isn't set up by default. You could do that. This, for example, will not apply to software products that you defined as non-managed. That's why I recommend that you configure your software to be managed in almost all the times. Unless you configure software product, if you configure a free software as a software product, but again, that option, I wouldn't go with it, because if the software is free, why would you want to track it? But again, that's your decision. If you track free software, make sure to configure them as non-managed. Last thing I want to talk about is Cmdb. If you do have Cmdb implemented in your organization, you probably know how high maintenance that is. You always need to make sure the relations between the asset CI and the software CI are updated. Okay, and that's of course, if you do everything by the book and you define changes for adding new software to a new computer, you can always make sure as part of the change to go back and update the documentation. But with software products, this is made much easier, because you can configure you can configure Cmdb to automatically update these relations and update the software products. So let's take a look at how this is configured. I'm going to go back to my system. I'm going to go to Cmdb, and under Cmdb settings, you'll find that I configured it to automatically import new assets and delete and remove deleted assets from the system. That would update the asset information. And I also have the two checkboxes to automatically import and remove software products when you add them or remove them. Okay? And if you look at the imports option, this is where you would import new assets and new software products to the system. You could do that and update the relations right here. That's a click of a button and it does that. But if you configure the automation, then you don't really need to do that. That's more for the first time import, or if you didn't configure the automation. Let's see what we gain from actually setting this up. If you go to the CI related to the software product, for example, let's go to the software product, switch to the Cmdb tab. That's where I have a link to the CI that was automatically imported. I can see everything related to the CI, and in the CI relation graph, you'll see that software linked to which workstation or which computer, which asset on the organization, that's another option to actually see that. You also see what it affects, what it is affected by, and say you have a patch for that product, you can always go in and see which computers are using that in a graphical way. So this is how you would affect the CMDB automatically.
Okay, great. Thank you, Joseph. I want to thank you for your important technical input. And I would like to invite Sarah Lahab, our VP of Customer Relations, to deliver best practices. Please.
Hello, everyone. First, I would like to thank all of you that took part in the survey last webinar. Let me start by saying that we are doing the webinar in order for you to enjoy and benefit SysAid to the most. We thought that doing it over live stream will be better, as I've been doing SysAid certification for 4 years now, and I know what a challenge it is to watch just slides and SysAid server. And we thought that part of the charm will be that you would be able to see us. You all know that doing a studio, so a TV is not our main thing, but we took the chance and we chose live stream. And the main thing that came from the survey, the response from you guys, were that we had technical difficulties, and we are doing the most we can. We investigated and we still learning to use this technology. I hope that today's session was more smoothly and less technical issues, and I would like first to let you know that we appreciate you taking to participate in the survey. We got the feedbacks, we worked on it, and we hope we are going to improve. I ask you to be patient with us because we think it's important and it's part of the charm that you would be able to see us. I would ask you again at the end of the session to take the survey again. Let us know if we are on the right path, if you have experienced less technical difficulties, any comment, things you would like to change, things you would like to add. This is what customer relation is all about. We are here for you. So anything you would like us to change, please feel free to do it. One of the comments from the survey was that we are recording it. So first, we are not recording it. This is live. If you would be able to see what is going on, what leap I had to do in order to jump to the chair once Joseph was out of it, you would understand that this is live. So this is, guys, live. And just to surprise one of you, I was over the chat and I saw that one of our customers, Lars Ronin, was chatting with our guy who's currently on chat, Hanan. So hi, Lars, and you can approve to everybody that you're currently live with us. So best practices. After everything that has been said now, I'm sure that there is no need that I really need to persuade you to use software product because it's free and it's there. So what I'm going to do is give you tips on how you can make the most of it if you haven't decided to use it already. Notification. SysAid is a worker, and whoever had the chance to hear me speak, this is what I'm constantly saying. SysAid is a worker. SysAid is supposed to work for you. This is what SysAid is all about. Notification is the way for SysAid to keep an eye out for you, and you would be able to track him, to let him know or keep him on track at the right direction, and you wouldn't do anything. You set him up once, just as Joseph showed you, and SysAid will send you notification, open service request, send SMS, email, whatever you want. I recommend service request, so it will be able to see it on the regular service request task list you are doing every day. Cmdb is part of ITIL. Cmdb is a base for resolution. So implementing software product, once you invest and you define software product, the only thing you need to do once you decide to use Cmdb is to import it. So every investment you make on software product under the asset management will automatically be translated to Cmdb and would reduce the time you would have to invest in Cmdb. Why is that important in Cmdb? Because when you're looking for information and understanding the problem, common ground of software that is installed on many assets can be a point in the right direction in understanding a problem. From there, the short is really quick to go to forums, understand if there is currently any challenge with the software you are using. Auditing and reports, as we started and we say, we are all applying to Microsoft and other software to send reports once a year to see where we stand. So as easy as we demonstrated on the video, you would not have to go, you would not have to search for anything. Simple drink cup of coffee, sit back and click print, and you would have the report and you would send it. DML is an ITIL configuration. DML is required when you're doing ITIL to have all the information, the documentation in one place. Joseph showed you how you can do attachment and links, and everything will be set up in the right place. So once you decided that your company should be based on ITIL, so again there is a short way from software implementing software products to have you apply based on ITIL. So again, I would like to thank you, and I would like to ask you to do the survey and comment to us on the quality of today's broadcast. I know that some of you has joined us a little bit late, so I urge you to see the video. The video is done by our own customer relation members. It's done here in our customer relation, and it's a present, a monthly present from us to you. I'm going to put you back to Ronen.
Okay. Again, I want to thank Sarah for the important things, and like to thank you all for being with us today. And again, like Sarah pointed out, your feedback is very important. We take it into consideration, and we really value any input you have. So go ahead, send us that input, and we will take that into account. Again, let's put back the slides. We have the our website for IT, and also our Facebook, so you can go ahead join the channel. And we're still here on chat. I would like to thank you again, and have a nice day.